Hello and welcome back to another episode of Octo Reacts, featuring everyone's least favourite cephalopod, me, the disgruntled octopus. Hello! And today we're actually doing a reaction video on a chap called Canup Files, or Canup Files. I'm not too sure how to pronounce this. If you haven't already worked out, human words is actually quite hard for an octopus. And for those watching at home, I have listened to your feedback and thank you very much. And I have spruiked up my background. I've got a little inspirational quotes up here. We've got Henry the octopus behind me. And today I'm going to need your help. So what I want you to do is basically quite early on, this gentleman says that he doesn't want to work a 9-to-5 job. So what I want you to do, first up, press pause, and what we'll do, put in the comment sections if you would prefer to work for yourself as self-employed or you would prefer to work 9-to-5. So the context is this gentleman said he would rather work 80 hours a week and earn $30,000 working for himself, or alternatively, and wouldn't want to work in a 9-to-5 cushy tech job for $100,000 a year. So take that $100,000 in the applicable country where you're coming from. So personally, I'd probably take the $100,000 and do some stuff on the side to basically generate a secondary income. But this gentleman is basically saying that he would prefer that job. And yeah, like I said, I agree with some points he makes through the videos, and there's other points that I don't agree with, which I'm kind of a bit contested with. Because generally when I do these videos, I've got a real hard line in the sand of how I feel. But what we'll do is we'll go through his video, have a bit of a squiz to see what's going on. And without further ado, let's press play.
I remember one day after working an insane amount of hours and just sitting there with like no money in my bank account, and my dad asking me, why don't you just get a normal job? And this was at a point in my business where I've seen some success and some results, but I was just constantly hitting these ceilings and just at the end of the day being left with no money. This is like 3, 4, 5 years into me building business.
I don't know if it's a generational thing, but like I said, please put it in the comment section below if that's your way inclined. You're more than welcome to flame me. I don't care. But if it was me, and if I was, potentially, 20, 25, I'm not too sure how old this gentleman is, I would definitely be working a 9-to-5 job, especially in this economy, just to generate some income, get some side hustles going, then basically build your business from there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's my stance.
And trying to be self-employed, I've made a good amount of money at that point, but I just had nothing to show for it. Like, I put in all this work, and I sat there with this question from my dad specifically, asking why will I keep doing the business? Like, I remember him sitting me down with me. He's like, "Is this all worth it?" Like,
and obviously your father's a different generation, but realistically, he comes down to 5 years in, you've got nothing to show for it, like you've said yourself. You've obviously, your parents are quite worried and quite concerned with probably the direction your life's going in. Maybe it might be time to look at a 9-to-5 job. So
really concerned for me, and I told him I would rather make $30,000 a year, working 12 hours a day, whatever, 80 hours a week, working for myself, over the imprisonment of sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, getting paid $100,000 a year at some cushy tech job or something like that.
So this is the point where I came across. So when, if you're easily offended by bad language, you probably want to press pause. Let's give a little bit of section. I actually thought this guy was a bit of an idiot, a bit of a knob, if you will, for making that statement, because people watch this gentleman, and like I said a bit earlier, he's had 46,000 views in this video. It's that they see people as mimic these things and all these different things, and there's nothing wrong with that situation. And like I said, that you pretty much work that comfy 9-to-5 job, then you've got some hours after hours. And I don't know this person's situation, so it might be single for all I know. Like I said, save as much as you can, reinvest, build businesses from there, but don't start throwing shade at 9-to-5s just because you don't feel like it or you just don't want to work. So, and obviously working for 5 years, 80 hours a week in your own business hasn't come to much fruition at this point. So
you see, I believe so much in just my own personal freedom and my own ability to decide for my own life, significantly far outweighing ever having to work for somebody else and be a slave and having to show up consistently to.
So I'm not too sure what part of the generation this guy's in, but he looks like he's jumped on that, don't feel like working skill set. There's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 job, like I said previously. And I have worked for myself, and I have worked in a 9-to-5 job, and I've worked in a 9-to-5 job with a side hustle. Obviously generating income, but that's my preferred method at this stage, being a 40-year-old octopus. But realistically, to have that mentality, it's like a sense of entitlement. That's what really got up my tentacles in the first place.
With somebody else, and I dreaded that thought of working inside of an office and having to work for somebody, and especially the concept of trading my time for money. I could never comprehend that. Like, I would rather go become a stripper, or I would rather go do like Upwork or some sort of thing like that, or I would go find a sales job for somebody if I really had to do it.
So this is the question that I caught out. Like, please let me know if I misconstrued what you're saying. That he doesn't want to work for a 9-to-5 job. He doesn't want to work for a boss. He doesn't want to be a slave for people to basically exchange time for money. However, he's happy to accept a sales job for someone else. That to me is a bit of a contradictory to his statement. And like I said, could be completely wrong. In the sense of commission-based work and all those different things. But to me, that's still. You're still reporting to someone. You're still responsible to someone, for example. And like I said in previous videos, if you're not happy with your current 9-to-5 job, find something else. Or if you're not getting paid in your current job, upskill or find something else. Always look to improve yourself or better yourself and all these different things. And like we have had discussions previously. Not everyone can work for themselves. Like